What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss everything going on here in our country that you need to know about on a daily basis, including money, investing, the stock market, the fourth stimulus package update, and stimulus check update. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, make sure to subscribe down below as new videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're only about 200 subscribers away from 400,000 subscribers. So if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe down below. It's completely free to do so. And also, thanks for hitting the like button for us down below. We got some major news to discuss here. Let's jump right in. And there's some new $1,500 payments that are going to be going out that I'll be showing you here on the screen and who will be getting them in this video. So we got a lot to talk about. There's some major breaking news here, so let's jump right in. Okay, first up, the U.S., coming directly from a U.S. official, is saying that Russia is now seeking military aid from China. Yeah, here's the details, and this could be very, very significant if Russia gets this from China. China could be one of the last, if not the only major ally, if China is even left an ally for Russia. Yeah, a U.S. official said Russia is asking China for military equipment to use in its invasion of Ukraine, a request that has heightened tensions about the war ahead of a Monday meeting here today in Rome between top aides for U.S. and Chinese governments. In advance of these talks, the White House National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan bluntly warned China to avoid helping Russia evade punishment from global sanctions that would come if they helped Russia. He says, quote, "We will not allow that to go forward." They're saying that Russia has requested support from China, including military equipment, to press forward with its ongoing war from Ukraine and financial support as well. The Biden administration is also accusing China of spreading Russian disinformation that could be pretext for Russian President Putin's forces to attack Ukraine with chemical or biological weapons.
Well, anytime you have a nuclear power fighting in a conflict zone in Europe near NATO territory, of course we have to focus on and be concerned about the possibility of escalation, the risk of escalation. But as I said before, we have not seen anything that would require us to change our nuclear posture at this time. It's something we will continue to watch carefully.
I want to ask about China. China coordinated the timing of an invasion with Russia. They waited till after the Olympics. They're continuing to do business with Russia. Do you consider Xi Jinping a co-conspirator with Vladimir Putin in this war against Ukraine?
Well, we believe that China, in fact, was aware before the invasion took place that Vladimir Putin was planning something. They may not have understood the full extent of it because it's very possible that Putin lied to them the same way that he lied to Europeans and others. We also are watching closely to see the extent to which China actually does provide any form of support, material support or economic support to Russia. It is a concern of ours, and we have communicated to Beijing that we will not stand by and allow any country to compensate Russia for its losses from the economic sanctions.
Would you sanction China if they did help out Russia?
I'm not going to sit here publicly and brandish threats, but what I will tell you is that we are communicating directly, privately to Beijing that there will absolutely be consequences for large-scale sanctions, evasion efforts, or support to Russia to backfill them. We will not allow that to go forward and allow there to be a lifeline to Russia from these economic sanctions from any country anywhere in the world. As the president said on Friday, if Russia were to use chemical weapons in Ukraine, they would pay a severe price. And I'm going to leave it at that today as we work closely with our NATO allies and partners. And together we communicate through channels to the Russians to reinforce that message that Russia, in fact, would pay a severe price if they use chemical weapons in Ukraine.
And the invasion of Ukraine has put China in a delicate spot with two of its biggest partners, the US and the European Union. China needs both of these markets, yet it has shown support for Russia, joining with Russia in declaring a friendship previously with, quote, no limits. Yeah, so the White House is warning China that not to help Russia. Um, so it'll be interesting to see what happens here. But Russia did say things like this. You can see here Chinese officials have said Washington shouldn't be able to complain about Russia's actions because the U.S. invaded Iraq under false pretenses. This is what Chinese officials are saying. The U.S. claimed to have evidence against Saddam Hussein was stockpiling weapons of mass destruction, though none was ever found. And during Putin's visit to China, the two leaders issued a 5,000 word statement declaring limitless friendship. But that was before Russia started losing the war in Ukraine. And all the European Union countries and the US have started to sanction them beyond belief, and their dollar has now fallen, or their ruble, their version of the dollar, the ruble, has now fallen almost 50%. Their stock market has fallen almost 50%, and basically the whole world has basically united against Russia. So the question here is, does China want to unite basically only with Russia since this has all happened? And that this has happened. China denies it received a Russian request for help in the Ukraine war. China said it was not asked by Russia for military equipment or other assistance to support the war in Ukraine. And speaking Monday, the Military of Foreign Assistance, Foreign Affairs from China told a press conference the U.S. was peddling disinformation and said, recently the U.S. side has been peddling disinformation against China on the Ukraine issue with sinister intentions. And that China's position on Ukraine issue is consistent and clear. We have been playing a constructive role in promoting peace talks. It is imperative for all parties to exercise restraint and cool down the tensions rather than adding fuel to the fire. I mean, I don't think that cooling down the tensions is working so far with Putin. It is important to push for a diplomatic solution rather than further escalating the situation. Also, interestingly enough, this is actually from the South China Morning Post. They're reporting that China sent their first shipment of humanitarian aid to Ukraine. So they're reporting that they actually sent humanitarian aid to Ukraine. The China Foreign Ministry spokesman said that they sent food and other necessities have been dispatched from Beijing through the Red Cross Society of China. This is about, you can see the shipments here, and this is about 800,000 US dollars worth of emergency aid donations. They said frequently wielding the stick of sanctions will not bring peace and security, but will only cause serious difficulties to the economy and people's livelihoods in the relevant countries. China also expressed Beijing's strong oppositions to the latest sanctions on Russia's energy sector by the United States and European Union and Britain, and said trade between China and Russia would continue, including oil and gas. China is Russia's largest buyer of Russian oil and gas. So yeah, it's kind of difficult to determine where China might lie here. It honestly kind of feels like China just might be out for themselves, might just be playing both ends from the middle. And you can let me know your thoughts here in the comments. If push comes to shove, do you think that China would fully back Russia in a World War III type of scenario? I'm not sure. I'm not sure because remember that there's basically all the NATO countries and all the European Union countries and the United States basically all on one side against Russia already. I don't know if it'll come to that, but would China want to join Russia's team with basically just Russia there and Belarus and not many more teammates there? And, on the other side is like the US and like all of Europe. There's like 30 countries just in NATO alone, and then there's the whole EU, European Union as well. I just don't know if China would want to join that against that with basically just Russia and and Belarus there. I mean, Russia can't even win versus Ukraine right now. I mean, and Ukraine is just smaller than Russia. I mean, how would Russia win versus all those other countries minus the nuke card? They have the whole nuke card, the nukes, but I mean, how would they fare against 30 other countries? So, this is but the problem here is that nobody really wants that. I don't know how you would put that, right? Because it's like, how do we end this? How do we stop this, right? Does Putin just continue on forever? Or will his country collapse financially and economically? In fact, they're saying that he may, or Russia may default on their bonds as early as this upcoming week, which is how bad their economy and their money situation is getting. Which is why there's these reports that they're already potentially asking China for help financially and militarily with weapon supplies, that they're potentially running out of weapons or supplies already and money. So as strong as some of the world may have thought Russia may have been, maybe not nearly as strong as some of the world reports may have put them militarily. Um, yeah, but the question will the guy ever stop? Will the guy ever stop? Yeah, so it's a really interesting situation, but not in a good way. Not, I mean, like I said, not going to be any winners out of this. There's no winners out of this. It's just a terrible situation that is just there's no good out of this at all. And it's caused rising inflation, rising gas prices, the terrible situation in Ukraine. Nothing good has come out of this for anybody. And the problem here is that inflation continues to rise here in the US. We have rising gas prices, rising inflation on everything else, and how long this could go on because of the war. Um, you know, and the problem here is that if Russia does get supplies from another country, like China or somewhere else, anywhere else, if they get supplied, if they get help from anywhere else, that could make this go on for even longer. How long, we don't know. How long this could go on, we don't know. But the longer this goes on, the worse it'll be. And the longer this goes on, the higher gas prices will be, or the longer they'll go on, the longer they'll drag on and just stay high, the longer inflation will stay high, and that affects us here at home, economically, financially, and around the world. And we already know how bad people are struggling here financially right now. Of course, we have a lot of different states proposing stimulus checks and pausing the gas tax and anti-inflation checks, including potentially coming from the federal government now. If you've been watching my channel here, that's really the latest trend here, is that there's so much potential here coming right now from really all different angles, from the federal government, from really the potential bipartisanship from Republicans and Democrats, and a lot coming from the state level as well. Even for the child tax credits, coming from bipartisanship from Republicans and Democrats, led by well, not really led by, but the new bipartisanship um, committee led by Republican Senator Mitt Romney for actually that larger check of $4,200 per year for the child tax credits for children 5 and under, or under the age of 6, same thing, right? Would actually be higher. It would be $4,200 per year, and Republican backing there from Republican Senator Mitt Romney, and it would still be the same amount for children over the age of 6 through 17, of $250 per month, which is $3,000 per year. And really, we're just seeing a lot of different anti-inflation stimulus checks as well. We actually have another one that came out here on the county level. Check this one out. Yeah, you can see here, double win, surprise $1,500 paychecks to be issued to some workers within weeks. See if you're eligible for 2 payments. Yeah, $1,500 payments. I'll zoom this in here a little bit so you can see it here. Workers in one California county will be receiving $1,500 payments in the coming weeks for Sacramento County. Sacramento County, remember that money from the last stimulus package went out to states, cities, and counties. So Sacramento County is providing bonuses to essential workers who were on the job at the height of the pandemic. And here's the details. Sacramento County is providing hazard pay to essential workers. The hazard pay is being distributed in 2 ways. First, workers could be eligible for 2 payments totaling a lump sum of $1,500. One installment would be for the current fiscal year. The second apply the second would apply to the 2022-2023 fiscal year, which actually starts this July 1st, which is, I don't know, 3.5 months from now, something like that. County employees who are essential workers will qualify for either 1 or 2 installments. The determining factor is the number of hours they've worked on site since the onset of the pandemic. Workers who have put in at least 120 hours on site between March 5th, 2020 and March 8th, 2022, and who remain employed by Sacramento County qualify for the first payment installment. Those who worked an additional 120 hours on site between March 5th and May 1st, 2022, qualify for the second installment. The alternative to the payments is 40 hours of administrative time off, the Sacramento Bee reports. County employees making less than $102,000 or less will qualify for the financial bonus, but have the option to take the time off instead. I guess you might want to figure out which one might pay you more. I guess just do the math. The first payment or time off credit will be sent by April 7th, so that's about 3 weeks away. The second payment will be sent out no later than 30 days after funding from the American Rescue Plan is received by Sacramento County. The funding from the I would think they would have that by now. Essential, maybe there's another payment coming out because some counties and states are getting another round of that. I'm not sure. Essential workers have been defined by the federal government, include healthcare, public health and safety, childcare, education, sanitation, transportation, probably including truckers there, food production, and services. So there's a lot of people that are probably included there. Uh, that's a lot of broad categories there: healthcare, public health, safety, childcare, education, sanitation, transportation, food production, and services. there's going to be a lot of people, thousands and thousands of people included there. In addition, essential sectors are those necessary for protecting health and wellness of residents. Workers who perform job duties remotely do not qualify. Nurses and firefighters are just two examples of qualified essential workers who are eligible for the bonuses. The bonuses were approved by the Board of Supervisors at a meeting on March 8th. Funding for the bonuses comes from President Joe Biden's American Rescue Plan. So yeah, this is just another stimulus check going out to thousands and thousands of people here. It could be $1,500 or even more in the case of if you take the paid time off, if that equates to being more than $1,500. So yeah, and honestly, we're seeing this go on in, like I said, in states, cities, and counties. This is a county stimulus check. Pretty interesting there. All across the country, as well as federal plans for a fourth stimulus check. If you've been watching my channel, there's several different ones going on here right now for the child tax credits, as I just discussed here, and for quarterly stimulus checks that would be provided via the gas tax for potentially as high as $300 or yeah, up to $3,600 per year, depending on how they work it. I just did a video on that. If you haven't seen that, I'll link you to that video here. There's a lot of different potential checks, and there's a lot of checks actually going out now. If you've been watching my show, that's why I like to show you this stuff right here on the screen, so you know this stuff is legitimate. That's I show you my sources here, and there's states, cities, counties, and federal level checks either being discussed, announced, voted on, passed, all sorts of different things here. So I will keep you up to date here with everything you need to know about on a daily basis. So make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't yet. New videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Subscribing is completely free to do so, and we're less than 200 subscribers away from 400,000 subscribers. So help us reach that goal. It's just a goal of mine that I'm trying to reach here. So help us reach it if you haven't yet subscribed yet, and make sure to tune in, and I'll keep you up to date with everything you need to know about. You can click here to watch my newest video next, and you can click here to see the possible $3,600 gas stimulus check that could be coming out here in the future. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.